Did you know it's 2 for 1 on donuts today at the cafe? But I only got 3. I should have got a 4th one.
Grabbing some for later?
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to need later. I mean, it's kind of like observability anyway. I think you should really think about what you're going to need for the future, because you could be making the wrong decisions now.
Yeah, it's kind of like unknown unknowns, right? I mean, with observability, the promise is that you can find the unknown unknowns, but how do you do that?
Speaking of unknown unknowns, I have a customer use case that I worked on a while ago. It was an energy company based out of EMEA, and they had this huge outage for a turbine monitoring system. And it was monitoring things like temperature, pressure, RPM, and it was there for more like a safety of turbines, monitoring performance, things like that. So it was a complete outage of this turbine system, and it was like a third-party integration failure, which was a silent failure that had happened. Nobody knew what was going on. And also there was this telemetry that was sending no signal at all. Engineers don't know where exactly the issue was happening. And the reason was logs were not being captured by any of the vendors. Nothing was being captured, right? So that was a big challenge. And so once they identified that, they started to collect a lot of logs, a lot of information. Speaking of unknown unknowns, it took me back to that particular customer use case that I had.
Well, it's great to collect all that data, but how do you get that to be cost effective? Because as soon as you start turning the tap on, I'm going to get a call from my boss saying, hey, we just found out that there are some overages now, and we're going to be spending a ton more money on our observability bill. This better be worth it. How do I deal with that cost efficiency problem, right?
Yeah, Mark, you were mentioning something along those lines, right?
Yeah. So one of the things, David, that I'm seeing a lot with both our customers and in the industry in general is people are going to start ingesting data as quickly as they can. But once that's there, you can move it off to a far more economical storage system with data tiering, like object stores. So that's going to be things like your blob storage or S3 and things like that. And when you move it there, you can still make it really, really retrievable. We're talking sub-second.
Wow. So you can actually start to turn those unknown unknowns into known unknowns using that much cheaper object storage. Presumably, you might even be using some kind of compression and some clever tricks to also bring that data down.
Absolutely. There are constant advances as CPUs get faster, as algorithms and retrievals get better. You can absolutely play tricks with some of the data, but I don't even call it a trick. It's really just kind of an evolution of storage and what you're doing with it. Because ultimately, I think that's the big evolution between going from a monitoring system to an observability system. Is monitoring is kind of, I'm tracking these things I care about and I know what they are. And observability is really about, I'm tracking everything because everything is valuable to me. I just don't know it yet. And I don't know what questions are going to be asked. So I want to prepare in advance.
A lot of people have started talking about data lakes, but it's even an evolution of that.
Yes.
Because it can still be pretty slow when you go to object storage. But if you can still bring things back in sub-second response time, then you don't have to make any compromises anymore, right?
And beyond even just data lakes, where data lakes are kind of a throw it there, we'll figure it out later. I'm seeing another trend in the industry, which is going to a data mesh, which is you're collecting a bunch of information from all different kinds of sources at the edge of your networks. You're taking in everything, and they don't even have to go to the same places. So you could have people in different countries, different time zones, different regions. They're putting their data local to them, but you can still search it from a single location wherever the person happens to be in the world who needs to see it, and still have robust controls like RBAC and various control lists to make sure that the wrong people don't see your data.
So you can get your devs focused on improving the performance of your systems, and your operations teams don't have to worry so much about the cost efficiency of storing all this data.
Speaking of devs, one of the things I wanted to mention was shifting left is even more important in this current state, right? Bringing developers into the conversation and have like a unified view so that dev and operations can operate in synergy. It's also important to have like more context-based logs, right? Enrich the logs, have more context. So instead of going through, needle in the haystack, they can look at one shiny object and probably 10 straws, which quickly they can get to the root of the problem faster. Also, one other thing there is cost-effective log storage. If they can bring in all of that context, all the wealthy information together, That's going to be really, really powerful.
I keep hearing about enriched logs. I'm really getting quite excited about enriched logs. I think it sounds like what you'll be able to do with those is expose those unknown unknowns even more easily because you have such rich context and it's easy to query. And now all of a sudden you can start to see and you have that visibility into those problems much better. I love it.
By enriching the logs and by making it so that all of this is searchable, you don't have islands and silos of data that no longer have the context that Purnima was talking about. So it gets you back into the fight and you no longer have to worry about where the problems are. You're now getting into solutions way, way faster.
Exactly right. No more firefighting, instead fire prevention, right?
That's right. Only you can prevent log fires.
So I think I might need these donuts later. So I'm just going to take all these. You don't need these, right?